Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really cool question. How can a building, just bricks and mortar, become the very soul of a city? We're going to uncover the story of a building that hasn't just watched history unfold, but has actually helped shape the heart of a nation's capital. I mean, think about it, right? Most buildings are just buildings, but every now and then, one becomes something more, a living landmark. So, to figure out how that happens, we're heading to New Delhi to explore the story of the Sacred Heart Cathedral. All right, so to really get the cathedral's story, we've got to rewind the clock. Our story starts in the early 20th century, a time when the British Empire was literally redesigning the very heart of India. So I want you to picture this. A massive, brand new capital city literally being built from the ground up. And as this new center for the British Empire in India started to take shape, it needed everything a modern city has. That, of course, included a major place of worship for the growing community of officials, missionaries, and local Catholics who lived there. And you know what's crazy? They moved fast. The need was clear right from the beginning of the century. By 1929, the foundation stone was officially put in place, and get this, in just 1 year, the entire structure was finished. By 1930, it was ready to become a fixture in the new capital. Okay, so the building itself is up. But that's just the shell, right? What really gives a place its identity is its purpose. To get that, we need to look at its name and the mission it was given. And the key to its identity? It's right there in the name, the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Now, this isn't just some fancy title. It's a really deep Christian concept that's all about divine love, mercy, and sacrifice. That very name became the building's whole mission. And right from the start, the idea was for this place to be way more than just a church for Sunday Mass. It was designed to be a true spiritual anchor for the entire region, a place for big events, a center for promoting unity, and really, a symbol of service to the whole community. Now, this is where things get really interesting. A landmark like this doesn't just sit there, it soaks up history. And man, the Sacred Heart Cathedral has had a front row seat to some of the most dramatic moments in India's story. Let's talk about the architecture for a second, because it's this really cool mix. On one hand, it's got this classic European vibe, Roman and Italian design, with those beautiful arches and that big bell tower. But then you look at its colors, that distinct red and white, and you realize it's also speaking to its Indian surroundings. It just fits right into the Delhi landscape. Seriously, just try to imagine what these walls have seen. The source even tells us it was a place for special prayers during India's struggle for independence. It stood through the end of colonial rule and has been a silent witness to all the major national events since India became a free nation in 1947. Wow. But a building's story isn't just about history or architecture. Its real legacy is measured by how it has served the people of the city. This legacy of service really stands on three main pillars. It starts with education and teaching moral values, which it often does through its schools. Then it moves into direct charity, actively helping the city's poor and marginalized folks. And maybe most important of all, in a place as diverse as Delhi, it has always worked to bring different faiths together. And that's not just talk, Its doors are, and have always been, open to literally everyone, no matter what they believe. In the middle of this crazy, bustling capital city, it offers something that's getting pretty rare, a true sanctuary for anyone who just needs some peace and quiet reflection. Okay, so that brings us all the way up to today, because this cathedral isn't some dusty old relic. It is a vibrant, living, breathing part of modern India. Today, its spiritual heart is still beating just as strongly as ever. I mean, you should see it during big festivals like Christmas, Easter, and Good Friday. They're celebrated with so much devotion, drawing huge crowds and making sure these traditions are passed on to a whole new generation. And its appeal is incredibly wide. Of course, you've got the regular worshipers, but then you have tourists from all over the globe, historians digging into its past, and architecture buffs who are just there to admire its amazing design. It really connects with people on so many different levels. When you put it all together, I think our source material really nails it. The Sacred Heart Cathedral is so much more than a church. It's a living witness to India's rich religious diversity and historical journey. That pretty much says it all, doesn't it? And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. As our cities keep growing and changing at a wild pace, what's the future for landmarks like this one? How do they continue to be these anchors of identity, of history, and of community in the world we're building for tomorrow?